Well, for the first time in many weeks, Dalton trustees and Mayor Tiffany Henyard held a public meeting together, but not at Village.
Dalton home that she leased to Mayor Tiffany Henyard has filed eviction papers. She says Henyard has not paid her rent, and now...
The unfolding saga of Mayor Tiffany Henyard, often referred to as the super mayor, has captured the community's attention, raising the question, is she truly super or simply super controversial? This dramatic tale resembles a political thriller complete with questionable decisions, shadowy characters, and legal battles that have left many residents divided and reeling. Henyard's tenure has sharply polarized opinions. While her supporters praise her bold leadership and ambitious vision, her critics condemn her alleged missteps and ethical lapses. The tension reached a fever pitch when the FBI launched an investigation into her administration, bringing mounting allegations into the spotlight. Accusations of backroom deals and ethical violations have further muddied the waters, sparking fierce debates and growing scrutiny. Her polarizing leadership style, coupled with a cascade of legal challenges, has turned her time in office into a lightning rod for controversy. Supporters argue that her bold actions are vital for driving much-needed reforms, while detractors claim her ambition has crossed ethical boundaries. Each new revelation adds layers of complexity to her story, deepening public intrigue and raising the stakes for everyone involved. As this political drama continues to unfold, the question remains, will Henyard ultimately be remembered as a misunderstood reformer caught in the crossfire of political games, or as a leader whose unchecked ambition led her astray? One thing is certain, her saga has captivated the community, with speculation running rampant about its ultimate resolution. In a world of suspicion, shifting alliances, and constant developments, Henyard's story has become an emblem of modern political theater, blending real-life stakes with a narrative worthy of the big screen. Whatever the outcome, its impact on her legacy will be profound and lasting.
The only community that in order to get a business license or a liquor license.
The latest scandal surrounding embattled Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard revolves around her contentious decision to appoint Ronald Burge as the town's new police chief. What might typically be a standard mayoral duty has erupted into a firestorm of criticism, exposing deep divisions and sparking outrage within the community. The controversy lies in Burge's qualifications or lack thereof. According to the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board, Burge is listed as inactive, meaning he is legally barred from carrying a firearm, issuing citations, or performing the basic duties required of a police officer. Despite these glaring deficiencies, Henyard proceeded with the appointment, ignoring the concerns of town trustees and community members. This decision has been met with widespread condemnation, not only for its apparent illegality but also for what many see as Henyard's poor judgment and disregard for proper governance. Town trustees have filed legal challenges, arguing that the appointment is both unlawful and reckless. Critics accuse Henyard of prioritizing personal loyalty over professional qualifications, further deepening divisions within Dalton's leadership. The uproar has only intensified the already fraught atmosphere in Dalton, with trustees openly challenging Henyard's authority and community members expressing frustration over what they perceive as another example of her disregard for established norms and legal standards. Many are asking how a mayor could justify appointing someone fundamentally unqualified to serve as police chief, raising broader questions about Dalton's governance and stability. Amid the backlash, Henyard has remained defiant, framing the outrage as a politically motivated attack against her administration. She insists the appointment was necessary for the town, even as opposition mounts. This latest controversy adds to a long list of contentious decisions and legal battles that have defined her tenure, cementing her reputation as one of Dalton's most polarizing figures. The stakes are high for both Henyard and Dalton as the legal battle unfolds, with trustees vowing to challenge the decision at every step. Whether this scandal proves to be a turning point in Henyard's administration or simply another chapter in her tumultuous leadership remains unclear. However, one thing is certain, the decision to appoint an unqualified police chief has thrown the town into deeper turmoil and further eroded public trust in its leadership.
Landlord showed up here to see her tenant in person after she says Henyard has been dodging both her and threatening.
To understand the uproar surrounding Mayor Tiffany Henyard's appointment of Ronald Burge as Dalton, Illinois police chief, it's important to consider the broader context. Since taking office in 2021, Henyard's tenure has been plagued by controversies, with her name frequently making headlines for contentious decisions that have undermined public confidence in her leadership. One of Henyard's earliest scandals involved allegations of excessive and frivolous spending. Reports revealed that she had used tens of thousands of taxpayer dollars for luxury travel, extravagant dinners, and even a lavish Valentine's Day party featuring igloo rentals, RB music, and photo all paid for by public funds. These indulgent expenditures outraged Dolton residents, who viewed them as a betrayal of fiscal responsibility. For many, this extravagance painted a picture of a mayor more focused on personal indulgence than addressing the needs of her community. Henyard's spending habits, however, are only part of a larger narrative. Her leadership has been repeatedly called into question due to her tendency to surround herself with controversial figures, a pattern that has fueled concerns about her decision-making. This brings us to the present uproar over Ronald Burge's appointment as police chief. Critics were quick to highlight Burge's glaring lack of qualifications, particularly the fact that his law enforcement certification had lapsed, and he had not completed the required requalification training since 2020. As a result, he is legally prohibited from carrying a firearm in public, a fundamental requirement for any police officer, let alone the head of an entire department. The appointment immediately raised alarms, both in the community and among Dolton's trustees, who questioned Henyard's motives and judgment. Detractors argue that this decision fits a troubling pattern in which Henyard appears to prioritize personal alliances over qualifications and community safety. Her willingness to ignore these significant red flags has left many Dolton residents frustrated and increasingly distrustful of her leadership. Henyard's response to the backlash has only fueled the controversy further. Instead of addressing valid concerns about Burge's qualifications, she dismissed the criticism as politically motivated attacks. This defense has done little to reassure a community already skeptical of her administration. Her dismissive stance has deepened public mistrust, reinforcing perceptions of an administration riddled with questionable decisions and lacking in transparency. The growing scandal over Burge's appointment has reignited debates about accountability and competence in Dolton's governance. Trustees have openly challenged Henyard's authority and vowed to contest the appointment through legal means. Meanwhile, the controversy has amplified public concerns about her leadership style, particularly her apparent inability to collaborate with other officials and her consistent prioritization of optics and loyalty over community well-being. For many Dolton residents, the appointment of an unqualified police chief feels like the tipping point in an administration already marred by controversy. The decision raises serious questions about the direction of the town under Henyard's leadership and the future of its governance. Whether Henyard's bold choices will eventually be viewed as a testament to her resilience or will further cement her reputation as a divisive and polarizing figure remains to be seen. One thing is certain, the scandals surrounding her tenure continue to overshadow any efforts at effective governance, leaving Dolton in a state of uncertainty and turmoil. The controversy surrounding Mayor Tiffany Henyard's appointment of Ronald Burge as Dolton, Illinois police chief has become a focal point of her tumultuous tenure, highlighting her defiance of legal norms and governance procedures. Despite Burge's inactive status as a law enforcement officer, as confirmed by the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board, Henyard has pushed forward with the appointment, ignoring a strongly worded letter from the Illitsbad explicitly stated Burge cannot serve in any law enforcement capacity until requalified. Adding to the legal complications, Dolton's ordinances require the mayor to seek approval from the town's trustees before appointing a police chief, yet Henyard bypassed this step, prompting immediate legal challenges. Trustees filed a restraining order against Burge's appointment, and a judge initially ruled in their favor. However, after a chaotic village board meeting, the judge reversed the decision, allowing Burge to serve as interim police chief for 30 days while the issue is resolved. This temporary ruling has done little to quell the uproar as trustees prepare to return to court, armed with the ILETSB's letter stating Burge's appointment violates state law, Burge is not the only questionable figure Henyard has appointed. Critics have pointed out a recurring pattern of unqualified individuals being placed in critical positions under her leadership, including former police chief Robert Lacey, whose certification was also inactive. Observers argue that Henyard's appointments often prioritize personal loyalty over qualifications, likening her governance style to that of a mob boss consolidating power. This latest scandal is part of a broader pattern of contentious decisions that have defined Henyard's administration. Since taking office in 2021, she has faced criticism for lavish spending, including taxpayer-funded luxury travel, extravagant events, and day party that sparked outrage among residents. Her spending habits, coupled with her defiance of procedural norms, have painted a picture of a leader seemingly out of touch with the community's needs. Despite the growing backlash, Henyard remains undeterred. Recently, she announced her intention to run for re-election with a bold social media post declaring, "Attention, attention, I'm running for mayor of Dolton again." This move underscores her political resilience, or as critics argue, her refusal to acknowledge the mounting scandals that have eroded public trust in her leadership. For now, Dolton remains in a state of uncertainty, its governance overshadowed by Henyard's polarizing decisions and ongoing legal battles. The appointment of Ronald Burge, despite his inability to carry out basic law enforcement duties, has become emblematic of the chaos surrounding Henyard's leadership. Trustees and community members alike are left questioning how much longer this pattern of defiance and controversy can continue before Dolton sees meaningful change or further decline. As the legal disputes unfold and scrutiny intensifies, one question looms large: will Henyard's leadership survive these repeated challenges, or will the scandals ultimately define her tenure and lead to her political downfall? Only time and the courts will tell.
The special board meeting because business has not gotten done at 2 previous meetings, so that's some progress there. But this meeting was not without its fair share.
Mayor Tiffany Henyard of Dolton, Illinois, has become a central figure in a storm of controversy, with her leadership plagued by scandals that extend from her public office into her personal life. Among the most pressing issues is her ongoing legal dispute with landlord Janetta Hall, who accuses Henyard and her boyfriend, Kamal Woods, of failing to pay rent for months on their Dolton rental property. According to Hall, Henyard and Woods owe thousands of dollars in back rent and have gone so far as to change the locks, preventing Hall from accessing the property for necessary maintenance. This situation has left Hull frustrated and questioning Henyard's integrity, stating that a mayor should set an example but instead acts as though rules don't apply to her. Compounding the controversy is an ongoing federal investigation into Henyard's financial practices. Reports suggest that the FBI is examining allegations of misused public funds during her tenure as mayor and township supervisor of Thornton Township. Henyard is accused of making extravagant purchases using taxpayer money, including a reported $40,000 spent on Amazon in a single day, as well as additional purchases from Target, Walgreens, and Wayfair. These expenditures coincide with a sharp decline in Dolton's financial health, with the town's general fund plunging from a $5 million surplus in 2021 to a deficit of $360,000 by mid-2024. Critics have pointed to Henyard's spending habits as a significant factor in this alarming financial downturn. Henyard's leadership has also come under fire for controversial personnel decisions. Her appointment of Ronald Burge as police chief, despite his inactive law enforcement certification, has sparked outrage and legal challenges from Dolton's trustees. Burge's inability to carry a firearm or fulfill basic law enforcement duties due to his lapsed certification has raised serious concerns about Henyard's judgment. This decision follows a troubling pattern, as former police chief Robert Lacey, also appointed by Henyard, was similarly unqualified. Critics argue that Henyard's hiring practices prioritize loyalty over competence, further eroding public confidence in her administration. Despite these mounting challenges, Henyard has remained defiant, dismissing investigations and criticisms as politically motivated attacks. In a lengthy Facebook Live session earlier this year, she accused her opponents of unethical practices and promised to expose a conspiracy against her, though no concrete evidence has been presented. Her resilience is underscored by her recent announcement of a re-election bid, made through a bold social media post declaring her intent to remain in office. Henyard's first election victory was a landslide, securing over 80% of the vote, but whether her support will endure in the face of her growing scandals remains uncertain. The controversies surrounding Henyard have left Dolton residents deeply divided. Some view her as a determined leader standing firm against opposition, while others see her as a mayor whose actions prioritize personal gain over the needs of the community. With legal battles intensifying and public trust waning, the future of her leadership remains uncertain. Whether Henyard can weather these challenges and restore stability to Dolton or face a political downfall is a question that looms large as the drama continues to unfold.